What's going on? Hi. Say hi, Linda. Beauty. All right, so I get to have some fun, and I'm gonna build a keyboard. Now, disclaimer: I've already built one of these before, but I'm gonna go ahead and build another one. So the other one, or the first one that I built, I took apart several times trying to figure out kind of everything about it, ins and outs, how to tune the sound, So this one is going to be an easier, quicker build that I should be able to just assemble and just go right out of the box and then give my honest opinions about the keyboard and everything, all as a whole. And newly launched Q4. It took a little bit to get here, but the newly launched Q4. So that's going to be the board that we're going to open today and assemble. And then the switches that are going to go in it. Keychron Oil Kings. And then I also picked up an FR4 plate to go on this one. So this is going to be interesting. All right. Well, I think I should get my desk clear and get this thing out of here. And I'm not going to use it for anything else at this point, so. It's a beauty, by the way. Oi. I'm not good at this. All right, let's put the plate over here. Make sure our cable didn't fall down. Get this thing open. Gonna start a trash pile down there. Now these boxes are very, very tight first go around. It's like they're vacuum sealed. Ooh. All right. Get that out of the way. This little cable that goes with it, some of the instruction stuff, hot swaps instructions there. Set that aside for now. Some extra gaskets and some extra bump-ons and hardware, of course. And then the keyboard itself. You know what? Where's the hardware? Let's pull the hardware aside. That little baggie. I'm probably going to put some stuff back in it. And then just in case we mess up a gasket, you know what I mean? All right, if you can't see it already, I got the navy blue on this one. The other one I got is a silver gray, and I really like the silver. Oh, Wow. I like the blue. Let's get it apart. I like how this one's not assembled as tightly as the other one. Probably shouldn't have slid it around just in case it was on something. You get a nice little scratch in the ano, and those thick, chonky bezels, it would be very visible. Ah. Dry fingertips, or just dry hands, you know, where I live is very dry. Oh. And I know for sure I'm going to have to tune the stabs, clean them off, get them all ready to go again, and re-lube them. Crappy process, but it doesn't take too long to do. It's just more tedious than anything else. Almost. A couple more screws. Oh, you really dry fingers. Alright. If you're planning on building this board, I recommend trying to separate the bottom part of the chassis or case from the top first, and then just taking this assembly and then getting the daughter board out of there. Oh. Daughter board is screwed in there. Holy crap. It's not necessary to take the daughter board out. You could just loosen it enough to be able to get the full assembly in and underneath it, and then on the alignment posts as well, but it's just easier to just take the 2 screws out. Set that aside, and we're not going to use the stock plate, so we're going to disassemble this as well. Oop, almost undid a stabilizer there. The screws that hold in the PCB on the standoffs to the plate, because there are standoffs, the stock steel plate and the aluminum plate. If you get the aluminum plate, beware that. I clipped them off the aluminum plate since it's just very flexible, flimsy, you know, aluminum. The steel plate itself feels very nice, actually. Eventually, I'll take the other one and rebuild it and give it a try. I still haven't tried it, but I want to try to remove the standoffs first, because I hate standoffs. And there's enough friction to keep the PCB and the assembly together. It's just you kind of lose hot swap with the thing assembled. You have to disassemble to hot swap. Oh. Do you want it back? Okay. All right. I'm not going to use the plate foam. Or the steel stock plate, so I'm going to remove that. All right. We use this to build the stabilizers on. Ah. All right, sorry about the mic noise there. I really don't want to mess with it. All right, 2 more. They come out quick. It takes a little bit more time to lube them and get them back in there. Well, cleaned off first and then lubed and get back in there. I always recommend taking whatever factory lube that's on these things and cleaning them off. Not a fan of any factory lube job so far that I've ever experienced. People say, well, it's usable right out of the... It's kind of not usable right out of the box. At least not for me anyways. All right, got all the stabs out of there, got the PCB. All right, I'm gonna need to go get some paper towels. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Forgot I didn't have a brush with me either at the point, but also got the paper towels. There is some excess lube left on the PCB. I'm gonna wipe some of it away. All right. So let's get all of the stabs disassembled and cleaned off. That actually looks pretty darn good right there. That's a lot different than the other one. That actually looks like cryotox. Still gonna clean it off and do it myself. Why? Because reasons. Oh, that's not bad. All right, let's get this thing apart and cleaned up. No real lube inside the actual housing itself. That's pretty dry. Sure. I just got all that on my fingertips. All right. This is the tedious part about this. Like, you got to get these things apart and get all this off them. Boy, a little bit on this housing, but not much. I'm doing this, but I'm going to douse them in cryotox anyways, you know what I mean? Ah, almost nothing on that housing. All right. So tedious. This is just so tedious, but necessary. Now these have a much deeper pitch to me, like than say like a Duroc V2. And I like Durocs. They take a lot of tuning, but I like Durocs. Oh, Ah, we're getting there. I'm almost there. Oh, I think the space bar was the only one that actually had lube on the housing where the metal bar actually meets plastic and clips in, or anything internally as well. All right, one more. Wait, not sure which one I didn't clean, but we're gonna leave it at that. All right, stabs are all cleaned up there. All right, let's get started on getting these things lubed up. Two. Let's start with the space bar. We'll do the easier one. Linda. Oi. Whoop, wrong piece. Now, since we're being liberal at this particular point, like, we don't have to take our time like we would with switches here. Normally, if this were switches, I would be taking my time. Sorry about that. Boy, getting there. All right, last one. All right, on to the stabilizer wires. All right, I'm gonna inject a little bit into the back side of this thing. I'm not gonna dip this time. I shouldn't have dipped it in there last time. Wait, I do like how they're very hard for the thing to just pop in and out. Hello. Thank you for the good day wish. I appreciate that. All right. Nice. Ah, glad that didn't fall in the cryotox there. That would have been boogers. Oh, can you actually see it? Or did you see it on YouTube? And I'm also curious about which build you're looking at, because if you saw it on YouTube, it may not be the same anymore. They used to have this crazy water-cooled machine, and now it's back to a very just standard air machine. I'm kind of thankful that I'm back on air, to be honest. Wait, no, I'm just gonna leave it there. Accidentally hit a clump. You know what? I can't. My OCD is gonna get to me. All right, back of this one. Nice. Oh, I forgot I had Twitter, to be honest. All right, we're cooking with gas here. 3 more to go. 2 down. Yeah, a couple of the versions of the water cooling was pretty insane, to be honest. There's a lot of work to maintain that, though. I kind of got sick of it. Just absolutely sick of it over some time. But while you're using it, and especially while you're gaming, oh my lord, our temperature is amazing, and you can overclock your stuff. Never really thermal throttles. It's a lot of fun. But deemed a little unnecessary for that little bit of performance increase I was getting. And with good air coolers, I was able to achieve close, not the ideal, but close to the same temperatures. GPU, however, benefited so much from just having a water block on it. I don't know what it is. The GPU just flies with water. Ooh, those things clip in so firm. I like. All right, we are getting there. Yeah, stock thermal pads are usually not the greatest, but sometimes depending on which water blocks you order, like Bixby, I think it is. EK thermal pads are always very good, but I would not use the stock Bixby ones. Alpha Cool, I'd probably try. They have a decent reputation, but again, kind of been off it for a moment. I eventually might go back. I had a couple scary moments with it. The machine was on, and I was in the middle of a gaming session with some friends, and I just glanced over and I saw some air bubbles flying up the reservoir, and I went, "Oh crap!" Shut the thing off immediately, and went, "Oh, why am I getting air in here? Where is it coming from?" And I looked at it, and there were little bubbles coming up from the bottom, and I went, "Oh, crap! The thing's taking on air somewhere." So completely pulled the thing apart, got the power supply out first to make sure it didn't get wet, and it was a nightmare. Had a big pool of coolant down at the bottom of the PC in the power supply basement. And upgrading wasn't fun either. So did some upgrades. Redid the CPU, or should I say I upgraded the CPU, took the old one out, put the new one in. It died in 2 weeks. CPU, and that's a rare thing, so yeah, heart attack for real, that's for sure. You never want to see the open loop taking on air. I mean, once you bleed the air out of the thing, you don't want to see air bubbles anywhere. Last one. Oh no, second to last one. Dag nabbit. Oh, this is so tedious. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands once I get this last one assembled. Not that it's easy to get cryotox off your fingertips. That was a good one. I didn't know you could lube box switches. Or is that the Gateron variants? They're ones that you don't. Yeah, I know it takes forever in a day. But once you use the lube switch, it's really hard to go back. And I've tried going back. I hate the process though. Switches are the worst. I absolutely despise switches. I speed lube switches. So when I do switches, I take them all apart. I like films, of course, depending on how tight they are. I'll test first to see if the housing really needs a film. Most of the ones I use do. So I'll use a switch film, and then then I'll just lube the stems. I won't do the bottom housing. I won't do anything else, and then I'll bag lube the springs, and it goes by very quickly that way. Well, when I say quickly, you know, I'll do a batch of 100 of them in about an hour and 20 minutes or so, hour and 15 minutes around in there. And by just lubing the entire stem, and you think you know, what would be a heavy lube job otherwise, because you're putting it into the non-lubed bottom housing, you know, it ends up balancing out very well. And you don't have to be super careful. Yeah. Pretty much lube just the stem. But bag lube the springs too. Like I take 105 or GPO 105 and I bag lube springs when I do them myself. Oops. Wrong piece there. Last one. Now I can say it. Now that I got several boards, I think I'm going to not mess around with actual keyboard builds at some point and just start messing around with switches. And just buy, you know, 100, depending on, you know, which layout I want to use. If I want to go full 1800, 120 switches, or anywhere between 100 to 120 switches. Get them all set up, lubed and filmed, and just boxed, and switch them in and out keyboards as I will. And then, of course, do the occasional solder build. I really like soldering, so, you know, don't like desoldering, but soldering a build together, there's just something fun about it. You loved the springs on the box Jade specifically? Not really familiar with the box Jade. See, I never really messed with box switches. And I'm going to get my first dose of them eventually. I'm going to try the Gateron. Dang it. Got something bothering me in my nose. Sorry to be picking my nose. But I'm going to try the Gateron Box Ink V2. Or is it V... Whatever the Gateron Box Ink is. I'm going to try that switch eventually. Happen to be a Gateron fanboy for some odd reason. Although, yeah, whatever the black ink box housing one is, it looks like a very interesting switch. And it's a lubable switch. I've seen them disassembled. It looks like they're pretty easy to work with. Oh, Box Ink V2s are some of my favorite, or not Box Inks, just regular Gateron Ink V2s are some of my favorites. They really need switch films to get the most out of them, but my God, when you doctor them up, they are phenomenal. Nothing really compares. Ooh. So today in this one, since we're on the Gateron key subject, I got some Oil Kings. That's what's going in these. And from whatever thing I've seen, everyone says use these things stock. Use them stock, use them stock. So I'm going to use them stock and see what I think. I could always pull them apart later, especially since the build's going to be hot swap. All right. All right, let's get these things back in there. You know, if you haven't tried them yet, I would recommend giving the Equal C3 Tangerines a try. Those things were nutty. Really nutty. They have a little bit of a pop to them, though. The sound's not the greatest, but I must say, feel-wise, they are incredible. Whoop. Just get one side in at a time. Perks to having cryotox on your fingers. Everything's just slippery. Housing doesn't wobble. Magnetic tip is just barely not strong enough for these. This is not going over well. There we go. Da-da-da. Oop, wrong screw. Get a few of them over here. Here we go. Oh, it's okay if it's a little delayed. It doesn't really matter. No need to apologize. I think the stream itself is delayed a little bit, probably by about 30, 50 seconds, somewhere in there. Pretty sure it's just shy of a minute. Almost to the point where we could just start assembling this thing back together. I'm excited. Well, I guess I am assembling the thing back together. Ooh. Now, once I get these things in here, I'm going to have to go wash my hands. Should take but a minute. And I can continue reassembling the thing. Oh, yeah. You know what? You said you'd heard a lot of good things. I'm guessing you were talking about the Oil King switch. And I was talking about the Tangerines very quickly after that. Also a great switch, great linear, but more of a clacky linear. I'm kind of excited to hear or try MX Blacks for the first time. So I got 100 of those things when I got the Oil Kings. One more screw. There we go. All right, very last stab here. Ooh. That was probably the most awkward way I could do. So I do it again. I've gotten boards together and forgot to tighten down all the screws and like one side's wobbling. Let's get a switch out and let's test them and see what they sound like. Ooh. 380. Hands are straight. There we go. Now we're gonna have to get the space bar from our kit we're gonna use. There are some interesting modifiers in here. I think I'm going to use one or two. Oh yeah, there's tons of options out there. Really shouldn't be licking my fingertips. Alright, we're going to set this aside for now. Let's get this thing on there, see what this stab sounds like. Oops. I don't hear any rattle. I like it. And that thing's tight. Just take the switch with it. We expect that. Oh my. I just accidentally pulled this switch apart slightly. That's not good. We're still going to test it and use it. If not, then we have one that we broke. It does sound pretty good, doesn't it? I like these. You know, I'm a fan of the Durox, but the stock stabilizers, the Keychron ones that came with the board, they have a thicker, deeper sound resonance when they strike the PCB, and I don't know why I like it, but I like it. It's a really dorky. All right. Well, let's get our plate out of here. There's the knife. Ooh, the gaskets and some extra hardware. There we go. So I opted to get a FR4 plate to go with mine. Ooh, I like their packaging. And it looks like their FR4 doesn't have the, ooh, that's nice. Nice. Well, anyways, it doesn't have the little outlined gold circles like some FR4s do over the cutouts. This thing looks like it was laser cut. Doesn't matter. We're going to assemble it. It looks good. It looks really good. Actually, I don't want to put trash in the box. We're going to keep that box. So the stock plate's a steel plate. We're not using that. Set that aside. All right. I like how there's no standoffs like the... Here, let me show you the stock steel one. So if you look at this guy here, you can see there's little standoffs. That guy's a little easier to see there. Those little standoffs, there's... How many of them? 2, 4. There's 6 points. Sorry, 7 points that connect this to the PCB, and I'm not really a fan of that. I know the board's hot swap and not soldered, but there's enough friction from all these keys in here, or these switches in there, to keep the thing together. Anyway, let's drop in some switches. So I probably shouldn't have done it though. Too clean. It's all right. And it's not one of those very expensive, kits. It's not a TGR unicorn or something like that. I mean, but for a budget, on a budget, getting a gasket mounted board that's hot swap has included stabilizers that are usable and tunable. And I wouldn't use them as they are out of the box, but I would definitely, well, I did tune them, of course. Gonna have to pull the plate up a little bit here to lock it. There it goes, locks into the switch. All right, see, even that alone. So this is a hot swap board, and I only have 3 switches in, and I'll just hold the gasket so that I'm not even holding the PCB in place. Like I'm just holding these edges where the gaskets are, or would be. It's not gonna fall out of there. I don't know why they include standoffs on those things. I hate that. It's just something to reverb, rattle, and noise and crap. Oh, and in experimenting with the other one, I decided not to use the PCB foam. I kind of like the sound of the switch resonance. Ooh. Oh, it's locking into place now. Wait, sorry to be picking my nose here. Gross, I know. Turn the box upside down so they're south facing. Oh, that pin's a little bent. I like the way this thing looks so far. I mean, it's completely blacked out there, but ooh. Oops. All right. On some of these flexible plates like this, I did this with polycarbonate as well. I take my keycap puller and I'll support or pull up the edge of the plate on the empty switch around it just to get the thing to lock onto the switch. Sometimes it just pushes the plate down and it flexes. Kind of like, give you an example on this corner here. Right. Do I have a bent pen? Yep, I have a bent pen. There it goes. And then I'll pull the plate back up. Oh, there, it just locked into the switch. All right. Let's hurry up and get some more points done. Oh, yeah. Ooh, a little bit better. Dang. Getting there. I know I said I was going to go wash my hands, but I cannot help it at this point. I'm too excited to be doing this right now. Well, top row locked in pretty decently there. Ah. I think that one locked. Can't really pull on that one. I like how flat this PCB assembly was compared to the steel and the aluminum plate. The aluminum plate is just a wave when you get it. It is so thin and crappy. I had to sit there and bend it for like 20 minutes trying to get the thing straight again. And it still didn't end up straight. Probably should train it, take it apart, put it on a flat surface with something on it to keep it perfectly flat for a long time, and then go back to it and see if it's trained to be flat again. Then use it. Same thing with the PCB. The PCB and that one's curved now with the plate. You know, I said I'm not about using stock stuff earlier, without, or factory lube jobs for that matter, without wiping them clean and redoing them. But from everything I've heard, you don't mess with these things. Some of switches, like you get them and it's a must. You have to lube. There's just no way. I don't like the way that one went down. Accidentally popped the switch open. That went down squarely. I must say, it's a nifty little way to receive Switch packages here. Sounded like it lifted into place just fine. Wait, warm in here. All right. Gonna have to grab more switches soon. Here we go. Much more tedious and it's led on. After this, I gotta put gaskets on the thing anyways. That's gonna take a hot minute. Well, not really a hot minute. It's just gonna be tedious as well. Probably do the bottoms first since that's gonna be the harder ones to get at. Wow. This assembly is starting to show the same bow that the other one does. Oi. So if you look at the thing, it's kind of like, that's crappy. Once it starts to get assembled together, because once it's in the gaskets, it's actually going to look like that inside the board. Kind of crappy, but it is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. We'll get some more switches in the thing as well. And then you also got to remember here, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but there is a giant little, can't even show it. There's the daughter board connector down there that's making it kind of wonky as well. Oh. Whoa, that one was turned upside down unless I did that. Come on, you little bugger. Yeah, they're not bad. I want to try the stock steel one. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. That one went in kind of rough. No, didn't bend a pin. I thought I bent a pin there, but I guess not. Didn't bend a pin. Speak tonight. Well, this particular Keychron packaging, yeah. I mean, I got black inks there. Every time I got black inks, they were just standard, like KBD 10 packs, you know. That was crunched as well. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, packaging that I'm used to. Well, I don't even have them here, but it would be like pretty much just a little bit bigger bag than this. Just 10 packs of them from KBD fans is how I usually get switches. I might have done that one a little crooked. Every time I say that, I pull the switch and the pins are fine. Ooh. And these particular ones, I think, since they're supposed to be one of their top tier linear ones, they went all out with the packaging. Supposedly the Pro Series switches, like the G Pro Reds and Browns, are supposed to be pretty good. I'm not a brown kind of switch user myself. I'm more of a linear. I like the little bit heavier linears. Reds are okay. They can feel a little on the light side after using something like black inks. The Tangis I use are a little on the heavier side as well. I think I got the 67 gram spring ones instead of the 63s. Switch pullers, is he talking about this thing? I think this came from a lube station kit that I got from Amazon. Yep, definitely bent that one. Oh, clickies. To each his own. I won't be too upset about it. You know, eventually you'll come back to Linear Gang. I thought I was going to end up a Tactile Gang person for a while after trying Pandas. And then just eventually... I'm still debating whether or not I like NK creams at this point. I've broken in the ones I've had quite considerably. Those are supposed to be a top tier linear, but... if it came to clicky or trying a clicky, I'd probably want to try one that's... one I could take apart and lube the springs, not necessarily the stem, because lose the click. Or I don't know if you can lube a click jacket, you know, switch. But if a switch is a clicky switch and it has a click arm rather than a click jacket, or a click bar, I guess, that would probably be much more nice, because you could still get the click and lube the stem at the same time, since the click bar is the one what's providing your click. Click bars, however, are just one solid click on actuation, but I want to say cherries, I think they click twice, or a click jacket clicks twice. It clicks on the way down and then the back up, if I'm not mistaken. That one went all in one there. Now these things are locking into the plate on their own. It has so much support. It is warm in my place. Not too bad. And it's probably going to be noticeable when the keycaps are on slightly, but it's not too bad. Have some extras just in case I wanted to go to a bigger layout with the switches. Now we need to get some gaskets on this thing. There's one. Oh, there's the rest of them. Wonder if I should use some tweezers for this. Come on, you little booger. Trying to get one started is a pain in the butt here. Don't want to rip these things. There we go. Coming along nicely. That one ended up slightly crooked. The top one, so not gonna pull it and replace it. Should be a couple. Oh, there they are. I was gonna say there should be a couple small ones. These ones are kind of crazy. They only give you 2 of these tiny ones in case you mess up, and then a bunch of long ones. So if you mess up, you're cutting one of the larger ones that you have on spare. Oh, I love that it's an all black build so far as well, but it's going in a blue case. Sorry to burst your bubble there. Ooh. All right. 3 more gaskets and then I can start wrenching this thing back together. Put the keycaps on, see what it sounds like. All right. Gonna set that aside. There's one more thing I'm gonna do to the bottom case here. Oop. I need to go get a pair of scissors. I'll be really, really quick. Boy. I almost forgot. All right, so got the. Well, not almost. I did forget. I forgot to take it off. Be right back when I came back. Bye. There we go. Struggling to get the daughter board. Pretty much there. So I did my own force break on the bottom case. So I had some leftover gaskets from a glorious GMMK Pro, and I installed them on the bottom case. Like if there, you can kind of see it. And then of course I'm going to leave in the case foam. Get this thing screwed together. Almost. There we go. Went to grab some scissors, forgot to turn the stream back on. Sorry about that. Cut gaskets and put them on the bottom case. It's basically what I showed you that I messed up the filming of there. Boy, so close. You know, the camera really doesn't do the blue anodizing justice. The blue anode is just very, very nice. All right. All right. Gonna clean up some of this stuff, get the keycaps out, get those things on, and then we will be ready to start typing on this thing, see what it looks like, see what it sounds like. Very curious as to what it sounds like. Some tiny little hardware. Bring our space bar back out, of course. Some of the extras can come over now. Excited. Boy, dry hands. I'm going to be licking my fingers a lot for this one. Oh my goodness, this is going to have a nice little pop sound. It's going to be Not too high pitched though, from what it seems like. You do? Almost. I know. I know, Linda. Oh, so far I'm loving the way this thing looks, and the image here is just really not doing it justice. Oh, this thing has a sound to it. Oh, on the clacky side. All right. Time to plug it in. Give her a whirl. Let's bring up Via. All right. I think it's under document. Yep, there it is. Not it. Oh, it's not. There we go. Goofed that one up. You know, let's set this to something else for now. It's just we'll set it to arrows word, just so we can see if they register. Ah. All right, so this is the one we wanted. Let's switch over to try this again. Perfect. Ooh, 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 forgot. All right, so that needs to be right. Alt. Wrong. Right windows. We want this to be layer 2. Layer 2. Layer 2. Oh my goodness. We need to clear you out. All right, you're going to be delete. R. This is L, so that would be down, left, up. QMK lighting. I think this is perfect. Know what that is. That should be enough. That's good. So let me show the thing off completely here. Not really doing a good job of it. It looks okay. Yeah, I like the case too. Set him next to his brother. Let's check him out real quick. So this is the other one as well. That's a silver one. And his little brother here, he's a nice board. He's got tangerines, aluminum plate instead of the stock steel one. And then EPBT 9009 keycaps. This one turned out pretty darn good. And I was able to get the corners up on every one of these, so it's not so much of an anthill. This guy, the plate's too flexible. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But this thing is, it's pretty insane. Not a fan of the way this thing's sitting in here. It's kind of wonky. F it for now. I can mess with it later. Oh, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. The other ones, I'll say it before typing on this one. It's my favorite keyboard. Wait, this thing has a sound to it. These switches have an odd sound. I'm definitely gonna have to lube them. See if I can get my microphone over there close enough. Probably. Ooh. Wow. Wow. All right, that thing is nutty. All right, I had to put my noise gate back on. Absolutely nutty. It's just, it feels great. Whoops. Need to unplug this thing. I can see if I can find a link to the switches. Actually, I can show you where I got them from here. So www.kbdfans.com. And then I believe they're the Oil Kings. There you are. That's the switch right there. Come in 35 packs. Very odd, but I mean, it is what it is. They're pretty flipping amazing, if you ask me. Yeah, no problem. It's still really interesting. I think I'm going to be done for streaming, man. I appreciate you hanging out. I really want to try to pronounce the name, but I can't. I'm just going to call you Gio. So, Gio, I appreciate you kicking it with me. It was a lot of fun. Happy with this thing. I'm going to actually go typing on it now. Got some other cleanup I need to do to get ready, ready to do something else. Later, man.